Hello, 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 and welcome to a very unique episode of the Happiness Retreat. I am your host, Kimberly Treves, and today we have the good fortune to be in conversation with my dear friend and colleague, the talented and multi-fabulous Greg Campisi, who is the founder and director of the AWAKEN Center for Human Evolution. Greg has always had a propensity towards the mystical and the magical, a journey which has led him to create the Awaken Center to help bring together the spiritual community and provide a platform for people to experience, learn, and teach about awakening. Hello, Greg, and thank you for taking your time to share with us today.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me on and be a part of this.
This is going to be a really exciting conversation, everyone, because, you know, as all of our conversations are about spirituality, the soul, and becoming a master of your own energy, Greg has a very unique vehicle for all of us to take advantage of with the offerings of Awaken. So, Greg, please start by telling us a little bit about your background, your education, and what has prompted you in even going down that awakening path.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to share. Um, and I feel like it's important too because I consider myself a very average, normal person. I know there's a lot of really gifted people out there who, got the gift from their like mother or their grandmother or whatever. I'm just your average guy. I'm very creative. I love art. I was very good in school, and it's a funny thing because my parents, it's like one parent wanted me to become like an engineer and the other parent, liked me taking the creative path. um, but for me, I love creating, I love art, and it actually led me into a career of graphic design and eventually website design. um, and I still do some of that today, and it helps me on so many levels being able to have those skills in that marketing. But when I turned 30, it was at that time, and it was because of a girl. I met a girl, and she was very gifted, and her whole family was gifted and into all this spiritual stuff. And I'd always been open and interested in, mystical, magical, psychics, aliens, ghosts, all that kind of stuff. Kind of for fun, kind of for interest. Never really got too much into it. Was raised Catholic, like so many other people out there. Um, and knew there had to be something different. Knew that I didn't really resonate with Catholicism. You just kind of you just don't have a choice when you're a kid, and you just grow up in whatever religion you're thrown into. So as I got older, like in college and stuff, I kind of started getting away from the religion, but I just really didn't know what else to do or where to go. And it was meeting this other person and getting thrown into this spiritual world that just blasted me wide open and started me on my spiritual path. And it began with, um, at the time, I don't even think Meetup was around, but they kind of held their own meetups just with a couple like friends and that they knew, and we would get together. And I think there was maybe like once or twice a month, and we would meditate, and the woman running it would channel information and channel meditations for us and basically give us kind of like homework to work on ourselves and start clearing out the shit that we pick up when we're little, when we're kids. And along with that, they had like a great little library of books that they had collected. And they're like, just see what feels right for you and grab a book and start reading. And I picked out Neil Donald Walsh's Conversations with God, and I got through that trilogy, and I was just blown wide open. And I'm like, why isn't everyone reading this stuff? Like, it was just pure truth to me. And that was it. I was like, this is what I need to be doing. This is what every human on this planet should be doing. Like, there's so much more to life and how we're living it and how we can be living it. And it was just amazing. It was just amazing. That started my path, and that was like 16 years ago. And it just that opening, and that's all it takes. And sometimes it's something similar to that where someone else introduces you to a spiritual path or an awakening, or somebody that kind of gets your foot in the door, or gets your to dip your toe in the water. and I know that there's other people out there where they have this like spontaneous awakening, and it can actually be kind of hard for some people, if especially if they're blown like wide open. Like for me, it was a much more gradual awakening, and kind of self-led, and and it was that path that then led me into creating Awaken.
So, okay, you've used the word awaken and it means something to you, right? So, if I've never understood that word other than in the morning I awaken from my slumber, what are you referring to?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And along that same line, when I started down my path, my spiritual path, I use the word spiritual and spirituality a lot, and I even went as far as starting to segregate my friends and as my regular friends or my old friends and my new spiritual friends, and I started, referring to like spiritual people and non-spiritual people and all that kind of stuff. And it's funny because one of my friends kind of corrected me, and she's like, "Well, everyone is spiritual. Like, you don't need to refer to me as your spiritual friend."
Right.
um, and so, like, spirituality and awakening, even just, and I'll touch real quick on spirituality because spirituality can mean so much because everyone understands religion, and there's all these different types of religion that are so ingrained in our lives, and there's a lot of people that are religious but they're also spiritual,
Mm.
but you can be very spiritual without being religious, and I really feel that that's where we're all headed, is our own spirituality, being connected to spirit, being connected spiritually, but it doesn't have to be with any set terms or rules or religion. And to me, awakening is the process of discovering that self spirituality and that self connection to spirit, soul, God, universe, whatever you want to create it, and name it, is fine. And so when we talk about awakening, it's about the self coming alive and like self-realization, in a way, and waking up to the fact that we've kind of just all been asleep our whole lives and little zombies just following the herd, sheep following along. So for me, awakening is about waking up from the mundane, waking up from everything we've been shown and told to do this way, and waking up to our own consciousness, to the greater consciousness, to the connection to soul and spirit, and discovering for ourselves what is truth and what comes next.
Yeah. Wow, you touched on so many points. So as a recovering Catholic, uh, I can I can tell you that what I was taught was that I'm a sinner, and I was taught that since I'm a woman and Eve was a woman, I'm an extra bad sinner more than men, and that literally suffer, 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 and maybe you'll get a reward. I
Right.
mean, so awakening for a lot of people that have similar situations with their religion, and I'm not saying religion is bad, I'm saying some of the teachings are not meant to help us awaken. They actually are, they are doing the opposite, whether
Yeah.
or not it was pre-calculated that they would do that. But I'm so excited that you have created Awaken and you've named it that,
Yeah.
because, you know, now that I have your definition, I even have a broader understanding of everything that you offer.
Yeah.
And this is why this conversation is so special and unique today, because you're offering, Greg, that you give us biannually is stellar. So let's go right into, please. What does Awaken offer?
Yeah. Well, and I'll back up just a little bit before we get into that. Um, because getting on my journey and going through this awakening, I had this deep calling of wanting to help other people that were awakening, and I was also quickly realizing how many people are on a spiritual path or on a path of awakening, but don't know what to do, don't know where to go, don't
Right.
have support, and don't have community. And this was like 15 years ago. Things are definitely changing, and the internet is helping, and there's a lot more groups and meetups and things like that. So it is a lot easier to connect these days. But there still are a lot of people out there that they have this awakening and it actually separates them, and in a lot of ways for a lot of people actually makes their life more difficult and makes them feel more alone than ever because their family doesn't understand, their friends don't understand, and the more they try to explain it, the crazier people think they are. So a lot of why I created Awaken was to create community, create a structure, a support structure, and to help people support them in their awakening. And I know I can't do all that myself. So what I've done with Awaken was twofold. I wanted to create an actual center for local people to come together and to come to events to help them raise their vibration, help them awaken, help them self discover. Um, and I also wanted it to be bigger than that and focused on online events as well and focused on creating a website. Our website, awakenche.org, is a portal, and I've made it an opportunity for anyone to go on there, list themselves as a spiritual, holistic, metaphysical practitioner or store or business, and to put events up there. And anyone can list and put their events on for free. So I created this amazing portal and system for people to go online and find things, in their area and things to do and other people. And that's still in its infancy. We're still growing that. There's a lot more we want to do to it. But in the meantime, we also wanted to create events, like big events for people to come together. And we do both. We do physical events where we have a room full of vendors and healers and readers, and we do workshops and events. But we also decided to take that online because online there's no constraints, there's no limits. We can have um, presenters literally from around the world, and we do have presenters from around the world. And the same goes for the attendees. The people can attend from anywhere. They don't have to worry about, oh, I'm not going to drive, several hours, or I'm in another state or another country and I can't attend. So our next event that we're doing is our online expo, and everything can be seen through awakenexpo.org. And we do two main expos a year, and we might even do more than that, but right now we do the two. And the next one that's coming up is June 5th and 6th, 2021. And what we do is we bring together amazing people, gifted people, practitioners that are readers and intuitives and energy healers and coaches, spiritual coaches, life coaches, like you name it, and it's part of this event. And the way I structure it is we do both one-on-one sessions for people to really help them individually, whether it's some form of reading, healing, or combination, or in coaching, or some combination of the three of those. And then we also have group events as well, where we have group meditations, group activations, group healings, things like that. So it's just an amazing event that helps people on so many levels.
And what I love about both the physical and the online is that you kind of have a menu, I want to call it, or a directory that is very clear on when different speakers are speaking, um, and how to get in touch with different people to experience their modalities. And I know that um, it's like a snippet. You've structured it. Well, tell us how you've structured it. How can I get to smorgasbord, 50 people in a weekend? How do I do that?
Yeah. So so if you go to the website awakenexpo.org, we have everything outlined there. We have the practitioners that we're working with, and what type of individual sessions they're offering. And then we have the events, and the events are broken up into what I call presentations and workshops. The presentations are a half hour each, and they're they're focused on several different things. Some of them are a little bit like similar to this kind of interview where people were talking a little bit about their story, their path, their awakening, how they're helping people. And some of them are just picking topics that resonate with them and that they're working with. So some of the presentations could be on angels, or we actually have one on dragons that I have to post. I'm getting the write up hopefully today.
Nice.
Working with dragons, which is awesome. So we have those presentations every half hour around the clock. The expo is from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So those are every half hour, and it's through Zoom. And then we have another Zoom room where we do the workshops, and what I call the workshops are more experiential and hour long
Hmm.
presentations, and those are more of the group meditations, the group activations. There's some light activations, light body activations. I think there's going to be some toning. There's going to be some light language. Um, Definitely meditations. There's going to be some group healing involved too. There's all kinds of stuff, and so it's all listed on the website. You can see all the different events that are happening and the schedule that they're happening, and see all the practitioners involved and what they're offering. And it is an amazing weekend. And the other thing that I do for people is being online. We can record it, so if you purchase a weekend pass, you also have access to the recordings for 3 months. So because we actually have too much going on, and I know I remember when I used to go to physical expos, it always drive me crazy because there was always like 2 or 3 rooms of things going on.
Right.
And sometimes there were 2 or 3 things at the same time I wanted to see, and you had to pick one. It drove me nuts. So we record everything and we repost it. So you have a chance to watch everything if you want, or rewatch something that you experienced and just want to see again or experience again or whatever it happens to be. So it's all part of the offering that we give. And Awaken, I want to make sure I mention this because it's important. Awaken is a nonprofit, and that was a big part of me creating Awaken Center for Human Evolution. And even the name, right? Because the name came to me that it was about awakening. It was about waking up and waking people up and us taking it to a new level. And when I came up, why I can't even take credit, right? Like the name came to me, and even the logo came to me. I love our logo. It's the awakening eye. It's the new sunrise. It's the chakra rainbow. Like it's everything like the new earth, like all in one simple beautiful logo. And the name Awaken came to me, but I'm like, everything out there is awaken now. Like everybody's using that term. Like I can't just call it awaken.
Mhm.
And so the rest of it came to me, Center for Human Evolution, because that's really what it's about. It's about humanity evolving to the next level, evolving individually and as a collective. And I wanted it to be a physical center, but I also wanted to create a hub. And so we're also
Right.
just the center for awakening, whether it's physical or online. So that's a little bit behind the name and the logo as well. And I just really wanted to create something to bring people together to help them awaken, to support their awakening. And doing events was a big part of that, and doing these expos was a huge part of it because it's also educational. I want people to also just learn about the different types of healing that are out there. We do, so I actually call this one that's coming up. We've done an art and music fest, a conscious art and music fest, which I love. Positive music and positive artwork. That's a lot of fun too. This one specifically is the Awaken Your Soul online expo, because it's really just about helping yourself. And then in November, I usually call the November expo the Healing Expo, because particularly in November, we focus a little bit more on a lot of the different types of healing modalities that are out there. And I really want people to learn more about the different types of modalities and find people in the area that can attune them if they want to become a practitioner. And so it's the 3 words I use with the events and just Awaken in general. It's experiential, it's educational, and it's empowering.
Yeah. So I love that. Let's talk about the experiential because you touched lightly on um, you have sessions. Sorry, you have this half hour and these 1 hour workshops slash talks, but when someone is not in that uh, room, I want to say, when they are virtually perusing the entire expo, what are some of the things that they're going to notice and be able to experience? Like, what kind of vendors are there? And vendors meaning physical material, and what modalities right now? You don't have to give me everyone, but what modalities? What are people offering?
Right. Yeah. Well, and just to clarify, when we say experiential, it's all of it because the groups are also experiential. It's
Right.
not it's not just about the individual things. As far as the vendors, I have found that when we do the physical expos, it's a lot more fun to have a lot more product vendors and jewelry and organite. If people don't know what that is, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like it's an energy clearing object that's filled with like crystals and metals and things like that, and it helps transmute negative energy and helps even protect against EMFs and electronic things and all that kind of stuff, and it can clear energy. So like objects like that are the kind of things where it is awesome to experience them in person, so you can actually like physically pick them up and feel them. With the online expos, we lean a little bit more towards the individual sessions because you don't have that physical connection with some of the objects, but we do have some vendors that offer different types of healing products. Like there's something called a Healy device that one of our vendors is showcasing, and she's also using it in her individual sessions. That is a frequency device, and it's about changing and realigning the frequency of your body, and it's supposed to be this amazing healing device. And there's other devices like that, like Rife machines and things like that, that other people have heard of.
Mhm.
This is just a tiny little thing that does a similar kind of healing work with you and your energy. And there's a couple other things that we're selling product wise. But the big focus for this expo is working directly with the practitioners. And again, what's nice is a lot of there's a lot of psychic expos out there, and and I love that everybody loves their readings, for entertainment purposes only, and that's what I was exposed to early on. I call them the boardwalk psychics, because when you hear about psychics, it was either like the 1-800 psychic hotlines, or it'd be like the boardwalk palm reader, and that's what like psychics meant. And when I got onto my path and into the spirituality, like it blew me wide open and took it in a whole new direction. And that's why people understand the term psychic, but I try to stick to the word intuitive, because the intuitives that I work with, it's not about you're having 2.5 kids and buying a new red car, and you're gonna have that wonderful house you're gonna look for, like, because all that can change anyway. The future isn't set. Even, and I'm not putting that down, because there are very intuitive people that can glimpse and feel into a very specific future and what's coming for you, but it can change very easily.
Mhm.
We are really focused on self-empowerment, and that's the empowerment part of it. So even if you're getting a reading, it's really about helping you get unstuck, clear things that are in your own way, so that you are a better manifester and creator of your life. And that's where the real empowerment comes from. And we have amazing gifted people that do a combination of things. So even if somebody happens to be a medium, they're also probably some type of energy healing too, and sometimes they combine it. So sometimes you're getting energy work done, whether it's Reiki, reconnective energy, IET. Like there's so many different types out there, and again, that's why we do this, so people can experience different types of sessions. There are people that do a combination of things, so you get some energy clearing, you get some guidance, and you get some coaching, like all at once. And the other thing that I do, this ties into the nonprofit, which I actually don't even think I fully finished. When I created Awaken, it was so important that it was a nonprofit, because it was about being of service. It was about helping people, and I was there were so many people that tried to talk me out of it. When I went to other like coaches and business people and things like that, like to get advice, they're all like, "Why would you make a nonprofit? Like make it for profit, make it for profit." And I'm like, "No," and that's exactly why I'm not, because I don't want money to ever be the leading factor or the leader of anything regarding the
Yeah.
organization. It needs to be service first, and yes, we also need to make money so we can survive and grow. And that's what the expos are for too. The expos are for being of service. So when I do these events, I make them ridiculously cheap. I'm always told I need to keep raising my prices. But I want to make them affordable for people, because I want them to come and experience as many things as they can. And even the individual sessions, we set prices, and I ask the practitioners in a lot of cases to actually drop their regular prices, because some of these people are very well known and they charge, $150, $200 a session. And we have them come down. Those sessions more than $100. It's anywhere from $30 to $100 based on, who's doing it and how long the session is. So we do make everything affordable. And the whole weekend, at least for this one coming up, the whole weekend is only $44. And there's actually coupons that we have out, and there's going to be a coupon that Kim will share that'll be $5 off. So we always make everything affordable, and that's for an entire weekend of the workshops and the presentations, and then the recordings to watch anything that you missed. So we really just pack it in there.
Oh my gosh, yes. And it's a good thing that the recordings are up for 3 months, because to digest everything you're offering, you know, you could watch it once and not get all the information out of it. You watch it the second time or the third time after, you have a week or so off, and then you can like, oh, I hear something else. So that is amazing. So there is a $44 entry fee for the entire weekend with a coupon. And then the only other expense would be if you choose to have a session with an individual practitioner, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And it's completely free to come to the website and just browse around and check out all the events and the workshops and look at the list of practitioners and all that kind of stuff. And then if you want to join any of the workshops, that's when you get the event pass. And if you want to get into the individual sessions, they're booked through the website, right there. And when you go to book it, it'll tell you, you pick your time and all that kind of stuff. So everything's done through the Awaken Expo website.
Wonderful. Makes it easy. Not one stop shopping.
Yes.
So, you and I are talking about this right now, and it happens to be May 21st, 2021. But for future expos, so that people can know, or any future offerings, where can people go to just check in and see what Awaken is doing?
Yeah. So specifically for the Awaken Expos, because there's so much going on with that, we keep the separate website, awakenexpo.org. So if you ever want to see what the next expo is, you can always go to that website.
Mhm.
And outside of that, you can always go to awakenche.org to find out what Awaken is up to. And that's also the portal website for all the other events we have going on in the area. Not Awaken events, but just that other people have going on and have listed. And the nice thing is that, we live in this online world. So there are a lot of people doing physical events, and there's also a lot of people doing online events. And same thing, individual sessions. So just because, I mean, I'm in Pennsylvania, but you can be anywhere in the world and hop on the Awaken website and find a practitioner to work with one-on-one and do sessions over the phone or over Zoom. And if you look, there's certainly a lot of online events going on as well, where again, not constrained by space and traveling. So we try to offer as much as we can to as many people as we can. And again, awakenche.org. That's always your portal to everything that we have going on and offering.
Perfect. And you have a meetup. If people are on Meetup, there's announcements there as well.
Yes. So I have learned in our wonderful day and age that we need to put ourselves out there in as many forms as we can.
Mhm.
So we have a Facebook page and we try to keep that up to date postings with what's going on in events. And same thing, even the expo, you can RSVP on Facebook. We also have a meetup. So any events that Awaken is doing are posted on the Awaken meetup as well. And everything is Awaken CHE, Center for Human Evolution. So facebook.com/Awaken CHE, meetup.com/Awaken CHE, and so on. And Twitter, Instagram, we got it all on there. But if you really want to get notified of what we're doing and really stay up to date on our events, then I always recommend joining the meetup, because then you'll always know what the next event is coming up. And especially when we do the expos, those are definitely posted there as well.
Perfect. And we do, because you're such a lovely person, you have an offering monthly. Um, and can you tell us what you offer monthly?
Yes, yes. I'm glad you brought that up. I do so much. I always forget to talk about what I'm actually doing myself, and I downplay it. I have a friend who's a very avid follower of my meditations. I do guided meditations every month. Right now they're once a month, and they're really amazing. And it's funny because when I started, I was actually like really nervous about like taking it over, and I'm like, can I like manage like even once a month to be able to pull out a whole half-hour guided meditation, But it flows through me, and anytime I just check in, I'm always guided as to what type of meditation we're doing. Sometimes it's well in advance, and I can let people know, like, hey, we're actually going to do a healing meditation with the unicorns this month, and we're going to do a healing meditation with the pyramids this month, and we've done those. And I always make sure I record them and I repost them on our YouTube channel. I didn't mention YouTube. Awaken also has a YouTube channel. youtube.com/awaken CHE. And the beauty with that is that if you go to our Awaken YouTube channel, I have recordings of my past meditations. So you can go on there and listen to the past meditations. And we've done the unicorns, we've done the pyramids, we've done Atlantis, and I do a new one every month. The one we just did was a rainbow healing meditation. So they're really amazing, and I can't take credit. I just because I'm right there with everybody and close my eyes and I just talk through the imagery that I'm being shown and where I'm being guided to take people. So I'm just as much a part of the meditation as everyone else is. And then what's nice is because they're recorded, and I always do this like I usually try to get them on by like the next day, and then I can actually listen to my own meditation and be a participant and not have to play two roles. And I always do that. I always actually meditate to my meditations afterwards so I can just relax into it and go through it myself.
Yeah, been there when, guiding a meditation and then you think, wow, that would have been nice to have experienced.
Right, right.
Fabulous. And lastly, we are definitely going to have another conversation if you're willing to come back and have another
Absolutely.
conversation because this was amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
I am always happy to put myself out there, and talk about um, you know my path and my experiences, or just spirituality and awakening in general, and what's happening with people and on the planet, and you know offer some insight and advice. I even it's funny because these are on the Awaken YouTube channel too. At some point, I feel like it was a little over a year ago, I started what I called my daily dose of consciousness, and I was doing just quick little recordings, and they were anywhere from 30 seconds to maybe like 2 or 3 minutes, um, every day. And but I realized it was hard to keep up every day, and it's a funny thing because this is part of the spiritual path is we want to honor ourselves and we want to follow our callings, but it's so important to live in the moment and understand that that calling and that feeling can change from moment to moment, and it's okay if it does. So it's like, I just put out there that I'm going to do these things every day, and and now like it's too much for me, and I can't handle it, and it's better for me to not do them than to try to force them and it not be genuine. And everything I live about my life and everything that I do, it's all about being genuine, being open, being honest. And I think that's why I resonate with a lot of people, because they always know what they're getting. They always know they can ask me anything, and I'm going to be straight with them and open with them, and help them any way I can, or lead them to someone that can help them. And that's also part of what Awaken is. It's about, I know I can't do everything, so I wanted to create a way for people, especially on their own merit, to feel in and find out like where they should be going. And that's the biggest tip that I'll leave you with is it's always most important to tune into yourself, your soul, your spirit, your angels, your guides, whatever it is that resonates with you, all of it, none of it, but always just take a moment and ask. And like if you're unsure of things, if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling alone, quiet yourself, quiet the mind. Literally can be 5 seconds of your time. It doesn't have to be an hour-long meditation. Just a couple deep breaths, quiet yourself, and just ask and listen for the answer, or get a feeling about something, or if you feel like you need a tool, which you don't, but it helps, get a pendulum. And you can make a pendulum. You can create a pendulum. I found, I'm gonna share this. I found this heart-shaped rock, and I
nice.
just tied some wire and a chain to it, and created a pendulum for myself, to ask yes or no questions. You know, there's so many tools out there. There's so many tools. So, but always listen to yourself. Always listen to your own guidance when you're not sure what to do or you have questions, because when you ask other people, um, some may give you very good advice, and they might be tuning into you, and really be genuinely hoping to put you in the right direction. But it can always change, and at the end of the day, it's always your path and your awakening, and you need to be the one to make the decisions. And if it's a wrong decision, that is also part of your awakening and your path, and a huge part of your learning and evolution as well. So there really isn't any wrong decision, because every step you take and every decision you take leads you towards the place you need to go in this lifetime.
Absolutely. And I did want to touch on one last thing. that you say, be quiet, go within, and ask. So let's say this is the very first time I heard you say this, and I do it tomorrow, and I hear nothing. Is it not working? Is it ever going to work? What's the.
That is excellent. That is excellent because I've been doing it for so long. I do forget because,
Right?
and 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 I also want to say, the things that we do are for everybody on every level. And for some people, especially if you're new, it might seem overwhelming. But even just like meditation, right? If you're new to meditation, doing a guided meditation really helps because you have something for your mind to hold on to and listen to. But there's no right or wrong for anything. And that's a perfect example is like, oh, Greg told me just to ask and I get all the answers, but you may not hear anything. You may not get any answers. You may not get any answers from anybody else. And that's okay. Like it's always learning to be okay with whatever is presented to you. So if you get no answer, that at the moment is the answer. And it could mean that um, just it's uncertain at the time, or it could just mean that you just need more practice. Because it's like anything. There is nothing. We just sit down and we're proficient professionals at doing the second we try it. Like everything we learn and we practice and we repeat and we get better at. And the same thing is true with spirituality and meditation because we've been taught so many other ways of doing things. And so it is learning a new skill, and it's like anything else. We didn't come out learning how to talk and walk. We had to learn, and our learning was part of someone else teaching us or showing us. But as human beings, most of our learning is our perception and us watching others and saying, I want to be like that and I want to do that. And then we try it. And the beauty is you try it and you try it for a little bit and you might stick at it and get better and better and even be better than the person that showed you. Or you might decide like, okay, this is fun, but now I want to try something new and I want to try something new. And that's okay. It's all part of the experience of this lifetime.
Yeah. Thank you for that because, you know, like you said, everything everything comes to us at in different timing, and it might take me 5 times to do something like learn how to ride a bike, and you might have learned how to do it the first day because you're super coordinated. So yeah, everybody has permission to be on their own path, in their own timing, and at their own speed, you know so I love that. Well, Greg, thank you for joining us today and sharing with us this amazing opportunity biannually, that we talked about, the expo, because it's literally like going to the Indian buffet. There is just an amazing, because I love Indian food. There is just an amazing assortment of all of these different modalities and personalities, and there's male and there's female practitioners. So, you're not just going there and you're only finding female practitioners or male practitioners. There is such a diversity in what is offered and in who is offering it. And the whole weekend, literally, if you only sign up for the weekend, the amount of information that you can gain is 24/7 from 10 to 6 each day. So just absolutely amazing what you've put together, and I thank you for answering that call.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. It is always my pleasure to be here to speak and to help people any way that I can.
Love it. And to everyone watching, thank you for joining us for this very unique episode of the Happiness Retreat. I personally hope that you check out the amazing Awaken Expo, and all links will be with this recording, because it is such a beautiful way for you to test out and to see what you resonate with. And no matter what comes of what you resonate with, you will receive some inspiration, some motivation, some guidance, and some clarity in your connection with your own soul and becoming the master of your own energy. So until next time,